Hey everyone, Katie Walsh here, going live from my kitchen, my brand new house. My office is not set up yet, but you're gonna have the convenience of me in my kitchen for now. I'm jumping on here live because I got, if you saw the title of this live video, I ate a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream and I feel awful. I have no willpower, my willpower sucks. Yeah, that's a message I got this morning from one of my challengers, and it was one of the first messages I saw on Facebook, and I was very taken back by it. I've been there. I'm sure multiple people that are watching this have been there, and it sucks, right? You feel like you have no willpower. You feel powerless over food. You feel like it's the end of the world, like you've ruined something if you are on this lifestyle journey of health and fitness, or if you are just making it a point for your health, not to do those kinds of things. You feel guilty. You feel like it's your fault. You feel like a failure. You feel like you have no willpower, that this is all your fault, and you feel guilty. And for a lot of people, myself included, you feel guilty. And when you link an emotion, a really, really heavy emotion, especially feeling guilty or feeling sad or depressed, you just want more Ben & Jerry's, right? And it's like a vicious cycle of guilt, eating, and it doesn't come about, where you feel so lost and so helpless and so powerless and out of control. And I'm here to tell you, as an important message, that this is not your fault. It's not your fault. If you are in this vicious cycle, it's kind of hard to come out of that because you feel like it's your fault. You feel like you are the failure. You feel like you have no willpower, that it's all you. But I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault. I've done a lot of research on emotional eating and things like that, and I find it so funny that I got this message because I was going to go live in here today and talk about the health and food industry and how it is not a lack of willpower. It is kind of our atmosphere, our environment, and what the health and food industry is doing to us to put addictive things into our foods and make us crave it more. So I find it so funny that she messaged me this, and that I was able to help her through it and make her realize that it's not her fault, and you just have to be more mindful of this. When you do eat something, or even a thought, or seeing a piece of food that looks attractive, you immediately release dopamine in your brain. Dopamine makes you feel good. It is your pleasure center. So when you're seeing something, or your thought comes about, dopamine immediately releases and you feel good. And as soon as you pick up something to eat it, dopamine releases again, much, much, much more. It's a pleasure center. You feel good. And sometimes, for some people, you feel numb if it's a stress relief. But you feel good. And who doesn't want to feel good? But what happens over time is that those dopamine receptors decrease. So you'll be eating the same amount, but you're not going to feel that same feeling. So you're going to have more. And that is that vicious cycle that happens, as well as when you eat something like sugar, your glucose shoots up and you have all this energy, and then you find a big drop in it and you feel fatigued and you feel tired and you feel bloated and you feel like guilty. You feel all these feelings, and it's all about how the body mechanics work. It's kind of crazy with the research that I've done, and it shows there's plenty of research out there with sugar and mice that it is the same, almost the same kind of processes that happen with cocaine. The problem is that when it's sugar or food, it's not, like I said, the processes with dopamine, it's not the same as cocaine. You can have the same feeling of cocaine, but with food you have to have more and more of it, which is kind of crazy. And it's something that I feel like should be a big point here, because some people feel so powerless over food, but it has addictive properties that the health and food industry is aware of. They know that this dopamine releases. They know that you want to keep going back and back for more because your dopamine receptors are down the toilet. And they continue to put sugar, fat, salt, all this processes into our food, so we keep craving it more. So it's really important for you to know that is not your fault because there's so much processed food out there. Not only that, is that every time you go out there and go to the grocery store, go to a convenience store, there are things that make it really hard. Even if you have the best willpower in the world, it's so hard. You're standing in line at the grocery store, right? You're like 3 people back and you're in the aisle. What is there? It's candy, it's sugar, it's crap. And you see a Snickers bar. Do you remember? Well, not remember, they're still out there today. Those Snickers bar commercials, oh, you are exhausted or whatever, you're in a bad mood, eat a Snickers, you immediately feel better. Yeah, that might be funny and this and that, but the food industry is doing it on purpose. They are very manipulative and they're very smart, and they know that you'll go for that. And then you have this highly addictive food in your possession, and your past experiences, whether it's a commercial or when you ate it before and you remember all those dopamine receptors going crazy in your brain, you eat it. Your willpower is not there because you remember those past experiences. You remember how good it felt to have all that dopamine triggering in your brain. So it's very highly manipulative. I remember as a kid watching those commercials for cereal. Cereal was my thing as a child. I would come home from school. I would literally just eat cereal. Bowls and bowls of cereal, probably like 2 or 3, and I'd be good with 2 or 3 bowls, but never just one. And it wasn't just a little bit of cereal, it was a lot of cereal, and that had so much sugar in it. And I remember watching the commercials. My favorite was Frosted Flakes with they're great. And it's the food industry kind of manipulating people. You know, you'd find that toy in the cereal, and that was fun. And then the Happy Meals with McDonald's, those are fun. And it's just little manipulations here and there. That really gets you focused and centered on these things. They hide things in your meals. Did you know that barbecue sauce, their main ingredients is high fructose corn syrup? And high fructose corn syrup is very, very processed sugar. It's a hidden sugar, but they don't tell you that. They don't tell you right on the bottle, oh, made of sugar. You know, you think that it's good for you. Prego sauce, that one little serving of Prego sauce has more than 2 Oreo cookies in it, which is crazy. Those yogurts that you get, they're full of sugar. You don't even know that they are. One topic to bring up, and I don't know why this just came to mind, but I think it's funny because those unicorn fraps at Starbucks, you know, it was a big ordeal. I didn't post anything about it. I commented on a couple things here and there, but it was a big, huge ordeal because of all the sugar that was in those unicorn fraps. It was kind of funny to see because I think the tall ones were like 35 grams of sugar. Well, when I was dating my boyfriend, when we first started dating, he literally would have a liter of Pepsi a day. He would go to work, come home, and be like, Mike, what did you drink today? A liter of Pepsi. I don't know how much sugar's in that. I don't even want to look. But when those unicorn fraps came out, I looked in my fridge. There was a little Pepsi because he has it here and there. He only drinks water now, which is amazing because Pepsi has so much sugar. I looked on that little can of Pepsi and it had 41, don't quote me on this, but I believe 41 grams of sugar. Okay. It was so funny because all that unicorn frap stuff was coming out with 35 grams of sugar for a tall. But people don't realize that a little Pepsi, a can of Pepsi, has more sugar than that unicorn frap. More sugar. So, you know, the food industry is so manipulative, and people, you know, people are people and they're highly emotional, and they link, especially me, link emotions to food, and it's the convenience of it. It's just out there and it's easy and it's quick, and you can get all these sugar processes and all the past experiences that you've had with eating these processed food, having those dopamine receptors spike up and make you feel really, really good, all leads to eating it, which leads to this vicious cycle of not feeling good enough, not feeling like you have the willpower, not feeling like you're strong enough to get through whatever you need to get through for your health and fitness journey, whether it is to, you know, live this healthy life and stay away from all this processed stuff that is really destroying your body, all those toxins that are literally designed by the food industry and chemists to put that in there. So my point of this is to not beat yourself up over it. It is not your fault. It's not your fault because these people are smart. They're smart. They're chemists. They're scientists. They put these things together with sugar, fat, salt, all those things that are so highly addictive, so highly processed, and they put it in all the lines at the grocery store. They put it in right where you can see it when you're checking out. They put it in the convenience stores, and they make it super easy and super quick to get addicted to this stuff. So that's my point. It happens. Don't be upset. Jordan, you must just be tuning in. So go back and watch. But yeah, that's my point. My point is to not let it get you down. If you are feeling like it's a vicious cycle, if you feel like lost, it's always good to just be mindful of this, to be mindful that there are things high above you that you might not even realize that's going on. I don't know if this is the first time that you're hearing how manipulative, the food industry can be, but it's actually compared to how the cigarette companies used to be back in the 70s. When cigarettes came out, people were prescribing cigarettes for anxiety. They were saying, here, have this cigarette. It will help with your stress. It will decrease your anxiety. And people were doing it. And then it became known that it's very, very bad for you, that it's highly addictive, and people are stuck on cigarettes. It's the same with the food industry. We just have not gotten there yet. I really hope one day that we do. But my point of this video is to not beat yourself up, because it's not your fault. And it has nothing to do with your willpower. It has to do with everything else, your environment and everything. But if you keep that in mind, if you keep that really mindful, like on those times where you feel like you're craving something, or you have a thought that brings back those dopamine receptors, or you have a thought that, or you're running through the grocery store and you're at that checkout line and you're sitting there and you're 3 people down and you're looking around and you're bored, and you notice and you see the little checkout with all the Snickers and the Milky Ways, and you want one, but you realize, be mindful and just think of what's in it and what they're doing to manipulate your mind and how highly addictive it is. And that's the point I want to get out to you guys. That's what I want to express. And I hope that this kind of opened your mind a little bit to how addictive food can be, and to not beat yourself up over it, and to always live mindfully and try to keep that in mind. And always look for support if you need it. There's amazing communities out there, and all this kinds of support. So I hope everyone has a great day. It is so rainy here and disgusting. It's Thursday, and I got to teach in Sandy later, which I'm excited about. But I really hope you learned something from this, and I just really appreciate you guys jumping on. Like, this is awesome. It's a really passionate subject of mine, because this is something I've dealt with for so long. And if only I would have known all those years that this was the outcome, this is what was going on behind my back, and I didn't realize it, I would have kind of started taking some steps to better myself and really be healthy. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again for jumping on. I appreciate it. Comment below if any of this thing strikes out to you, or or if there's something that really opened your eyes here, because it opened mine when I started researching stuff like this. So have a great day, guys. Bye.